Good morning, sir. So this morning, I will going to discuss polygraph and polygraphy. So first is polygraph. It's a device that measures and records several psychological indicators such as blood pressure, pulse rate, respiration, and skin conductivity, while a person is asked and answers several of questions. Next is polygraphy. Polygraphy is a practice of using polygraph tests to determine the truthfulness of a person's responses or valid methods of detecting deception, as there are no specific psychological reactions associated with lying, and the result can be the influence by various factors.
I am the second reporter, personalities in the development of deception detection and polygraph. Some of the pioneers and contributors to the field of deception detection and polygraph are: the first is Cesare Lombroso, an Italian criminologist who invented a device to measure changes in blood pressure of suspects in 1995. The second is William Moulton Marston, an American psychologist who developed the first modern polygraph and the theory of systolic blood pressure deception test in 1915. The third is John Augustus Larson, a police officer and psychologist who created the first portable polygraph that measured blood pressure, pulse, and respiration in 1921. The fourth is Leonardo Keeler, a co-inventor of polygraph who added the galvanic skin response GSR component and improved the design and accuracy of device in 1930s. And John A. Reed, a former police officer and polygraph expert who developed the Harriet technique of interrogation and control question test CQT in 1940s. The four major components of the analog polygraph. The analog polygraph consists of four main components. First is pneumograph, which records the respiratory rate and depth of examine by attaching two rubber tubes and around the chest and abdomen. The second is cardiopygmograph, which records the blood pressure and pulse rate of examine by attaching a blood pressure cuff around the upper arm. Third is galvanometer, which records the skin conductance or resistance of examine by attaching two electrodes to the fingers or palms. The fourth is chemograph, which records the movement of three components on moving paper roll or chart.
I am the third reporter. Chart polygons. A polygram is the graphical output of the polygraph that show the psychological responses of the examinee to the question asked by the examiner. The chart consists of several horizontal line or trace that correspond to the different component of the type polygraph. The examiner analyzed the chart by looking for significant changes or reaction in the trace that indicate deception or truthfulness. Other part of analog polygraph machine. Some of the other part of the analog polygraph machine are a stimulus test switch, which allow the examiner to test the sensitivity and calibration of instrument by applying a mild electric shock to the examinee. A question switch allow the examiner to mark the onset and offset each question of the chart. A movement sensor, which detect any physical movements of the examinee that may affect the accuracy of the readings, and a recording device, which record the audio of the examinee for later review.
I am the fourth reporter. Next is types of polygraphs. There are two main types of polygraphs. The analog polygraph, which use chemical or electrical components to measure and record the psychological responses of the examinee. And the second is digital polygraph, which uses computerized or electronic components to measure and record the psychological responses of the examinee. The digital polygraph has some advantages over the analog polygraph, such as higher accuracy, easier analysis, faster results, and lower maintenance. Next is general uses of polygraph. The polygraph is generally used for two purposes. First is criminal investigation, and the second is screening. In criminal investigation, the polygraph is used to verify the statements of suspect witnesses or victims in relation to a specific crime or incident. In screening, the polygraph is used to assess the suitability of applicants or employees for a certain position or organization that requires high levels of trust, security, or integrity.
I am the fifth reporter. Theory of polygraph examination. The theory of polygraph examination based on the assumption that lying causes emotional and cognitive stress that triggers voluntary psychological changes in the body. These changes can be measured and recorded by the polygraph and interpreted by the examiner. The examiner uses different types of questions to elect these changes and compare them with the baseline of the normal responses of the examinee. The most common types of questions are relevant questions, which pertains to the issue of the under investigation. Control questions, which are designed to provoke a similar level to stress or anxiety as the relevant questions, but are do not directly relate to the issue or matter under investigation, which are the neutral or harmless questions that serve as a reference or filter. The next is the psychology of lying. The psychology of lying is the study of the mental processes and behaviors involved in deception. Lying is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that can be influenced by various factors, such as motivation, personality, culture, context, and consequences. Lying can have different purposes and effects, such as health, self-protection, self-enhancement, impression management, social conformity, or manipulation. Lying can also have different types of levels, such as fabrication, exaggeration, omission, distortion, and minimization. Lying can be detected by the various costs, such as verbal, nonverbal, psychological, or behavioral.
So, the nervous system is the network of cells and the organs that coordinates and regulates the functions of the body. It consists of two main parts: the central nervous system, or CNS, which includes the brain and the spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, or PNS, which includes nerves and the sensory receptors. And the nervous system is responsible for transmitting and processing information, both internally and externally, through electrical and chemical signals. The nervous system is also involved in the regulation of physiological responses that are measured by the polygraph, such as the heart rate, blood pressure, respiration, and skin conductivity. So, in summary, polygraph testing is the method of detecting deception or truthfulness by measuring and recording the physiological changes of the person while answering a series of questions. It involves the use of device or techniques that records the respiratory, cardiovascular, and electrodermal activity of a person. It is based on the theory that lying causes emotional and cognitive stress, which affects the nervous system. It is used for various purposes, such as investigations, screening, or pre-employment. It has a long history and development, with several personalities and types of polygraphs contributing to its advancement. However, it is also has limitations and controversies, as lying is a complex psychological phenomenon that can be influenced by many factors. And that's all. Thank you.